In our previous lesson, we have looked at how we can find the inverse of a function. But we mentioned that to find the inverse of a function algebraically, what we need to do is to equate the function to y, and then we interchange the variables and make y the subject. My name is Nana Yawedu, and you can call me Sir Nana. Remember to like this video, share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so that you can get all videos on time. In this lesson, we want to look at how we can revise on all that we have done on functions. And we want to revise on the composition of functions and how we can find the inverse of a function, the range and the domain of a function. So now let's consider the question. The question says that f and g are defined on, right, f of x is equal to 1 all over 1 minus x, and then we also have the function g of x to be equal to x minus 2 all over x. Now where x is real. Now A, we have to show that the function f is 1 to 1, and then B, we have to find the inverse, g inverse of g, and then we have to find the composition of f of g, that is g followed by f. So now let's look at how we can solve this question. So basically, the question has given us two different functions, so we must write them in the form that will help us to be able to solve them easily, right? So it means that we'll have our f of x. So our f of x is equal to 1 all over 1 minus x. Let's write out our g of x. We know that our g of x is x minus 2 all over x. Now, the A part of the question is that we must show that the function f of x, right, is 1 to 1. So for 1 to 1 function, we can say that f of x should be equal to f of y, if you remember, and that implies that x is equal to y. So let's pick the function f of x. We know that that is equal to 1 all over 1 minus x. And then we do f of y, where we will substitute the value, which is the variable y, in place of the x in the function. So it becomes 1 over 1 minus y. So we know that f of x is equal to f of y will imply 1 all over 1 minus x is equal to 1 all over 1 minus y. So we can cross multiply here, and that would actually give us 1 minus y is equal to 1 minus x. And that implies that we can move the constant 1 across the equal sign to have minus y to be equal to minus x. And we divide through by -1 both sides. And that implies that we will have our x, right, to be equal to our y. So therefore, we can conclude that the function f of x is 1 to 1. Remember that another name for 1 to 1 function is an injective function. So if you have an injective function, then we have a 1 to 1 function. Now let's look at how we can handle the B part of the question. So the B, we have to find G inverse, which is the inverse of G, right? So we have to find G inverse. So for B, first we must be able to quote our G. We know that G of x implies x minus 2 all over x. And so therefore we can write our G of x as x minus 2 all over x. And we can say let y be equal to G of x. And that implies that y is equal to x minus 2 all over x. So here we interchange the variables where we have x is equal to y minus 2 all over y. Then it implies that we have xy to be equal to y minus 2. Right? We move all the y to one side so that we can factorize y. So we have xy minus y is equal to minus 2. So factorizing y out, we end up getting y, which is x minus 1 to be equal to minus 2. Then we divide both sides by the coefficient of the y, which is x minus 1, this side by x minus 1. So that implies that our y would be equal to minus 2 all over x minus 1. And that means that we can say that J inverse of x is equal to minus 2 all over x minus 1. Right, so we'll be able to find our inverse, which is J inverse, right, of x. Now, I'll leave you to try the C. The C is asking us to find the composition f of J, right? And we know that the composition f of J should be f G of x from what we have learned. So do the composition and then write the solution that you get in the comment section so that we'll be able to discuss the solutions. So in this lesson, we have basically used the question to be able to revise on all that we have done on functions. In our next lesson, we want to also look at another question. Remember to like this video, share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and see you in the next lesson.